Hello and welcome back to the Open Resourcery. It's Devi, and today we're going to have another shadow work prompt. And this one's heavy. If you are somebody that really can't take anything right now, I'm going to say skip this one for right now. Skip it until you are able to go to a place of pure observation and genuine self-reflection, because this one is a hard one. So, throughout my time as, I'm going to say, a mirror, a guide, someone who I truly believe I've been sent here to assist in whatever ways I can, there is one thing, well, there's many things, but this one sticks out to me at present. I'm sure, the muses or daemons or something of that nature are just calling me to bring it to attention. But this shadow work prompt, I want you to look at hate. I want you to look at hate. What do you hate? And this makes people really angry or really uncomfortable or incredibly avoidant. Sometimes it makes you sad. But I want you to think, and I want you to write down, and I want you to journal it. What do I hate? And unfortunately, sometimes it's a whole group of other people. And I'm going to tell this story, of course, protecting identities and things of that nature. But one of my old coworkers, I knew something was bothering him. And I have a knack for being in the right place at the right time and saying the right thing, and all of a sudden, the floodgates are open. And you can actually see people's wounds start to be relieved. Like they're removing the thorn from their side, they're removing the sword from their heart. Because hate, as strong as it is, hate is a double-edged sword. And as much as you want to cling to it, it is going to dig into you and it is going to poison you. And so I want you to examine it. And I'm going to use this example. So I spoke to him. And it came across really shocking, but when he told me that he hated Black people, I sat there and I was like, okay, explain. Why? I was being the mirror for him at that moment. I was exposing the shadow so that he could actually work on it and be in an observer state. Now, we went into it and found out he had a very traumatic family thing that happened because of a random act of violence. An absolute random act of violence. It had nothing to do with cause and effect. It just had to do with wrong place at the wrong time. And his brother died because of this. And with that, instead of it being for that person that decided that he was going to pull that trigger, he was going to take my coworker's brother off the face of the earth. Take that energy completely away. Instead of him directing that anger, justifiably so, where it needed to be, because the actions of somebody took his brother from him, he laid a blanket over this person's looks, over some aspect of them. And he laid it over everyone that had a very similar aspect. And you could see that it destroyed him. You could see that it was just eating away. And I won't justify that. I won't justify hate. We have to look at it. We have to unpack it. So through that conversation of discussing why we hate something, we can actually get to the crux of why. And I started asking him, okay, so the ones we work with, we know them. Did they hurt your brother? Did they take your brother from you? And of course his answer is no. No, they didn't. I said, then why do you blame them for it? And I saw the light bulb go off in his eyes. Because the hatred, the blanket of hatred, was misdirected. It had no bearing on actual reality. The one person who committed the act against him, who committed the atrocity that caused the loss, that's more justifiable. But still, holding on to that hatred is that double-edged sword. It's going to hurt you. It doesn't serve you. And we continued talking for a while. And hatred has this funny concept of entangling itself with something bigger. It's like a mistletoe. Mistletoe vines will actually choke out a tree, prevent it from getting light, take up its nutrients. It's a parasite. But it makes it seem bigger than it actually is. So with him in that conversation, I won't say that I magically turned him around and removed the hate from him. No. But I started him on the path of that actual self-reflection. And within a week, he started therapy. And I saw that man grow lighter and lighter in spirit over time until he was actually able to come to me and tell me he released it. He was able to let it go. He was able to untangle it, but first he had to see it. He had to acknowledge it. And so I want you to really dive into, what do you hate? Name it. Name it shamelessly. You have to name it shamelessly. Take shame out of the picture. Because 9 times out of 10, I promise you, that hatred that you have, that blanket hatred, is attached to something. It doesn't justify it. It doesn't.